What if God tells you now, my son, you're never going to be rich or wealthy. It is in the configuration of your mission to be a poor person or just a middle-class person that is just average, and that is where you're supposed to be for you to be able to succeed in life as my son. Will you agree? Now, I'm not saying that God does that, or neither am I saying that God ever has such plan for people. But, God has actually done it before. It was literally in the configuration of his assignment when he came to earth to live a life of poverty. When I talk about being poor sometimes, many people start thinking about probably, I don't know whether they're thinking about mad people in the street that don't have a shelter, they don't even have food, they don't even have clothes. That's not really what I mean. Whenever you are not able to really do what you want, you are only able to afford basic necessities of life, you are basically poor, right? There's dignity in poverty. Not like anybody that is poor, there's something wrong with the person necessarily. But what I'm saying is, what if this is the configuration of your destiny? Will you agree? Because I've seen a lot of folks out there that are basically threatening God that, God, I'm with you, and if you don't change my financial situation very soon, you failed me. So I have to look for other solutions elsewhere. I see that this is what God needs to fulfill for him to be competent enough to be your God. So if God does not do that, he's at loss to losing his title as God. And do you know one thing about all these things? That God has seen men. We can even attest to the scripture that God gave a man everything he could ask for. The liberty to chase as many women as he wants. The wisdom that surpasses every human being on earth at his time. So God literally gave him everything. God appeared to him twice. And this was what God asked him. He said, after appearing to you twice, after giving you everything, you still left me for idols. You still left me to start building houses for idols. Now look at this other man, Job. God literally stripped him from everything. In a single day, every single thing he lost it. His children, his properties, his livestock, every single thing burned down in a whole day. He lost everything. He lost his health. He lost even his wife because his wife left him. And every single thing was pointing towards that God has been unjust towards him. At the end of the day, he did not curse God. He did not leave God. He said, can you just expect good things from God without expecting the bad side? He bowed down and worshiped God and said, God has given, God has taken. Glory be to the name of the Lord. Do you know the kind of human being that is? That understands God and is faithful, understanding that God is supreme, that even when God decides to do something that does not sit well with you, that you don't have any right to actually tell him, what is this that you have done? God said it in the scripture that how would the pot tell the potter, what is this that you are doing? Now look at Samson. When you wrap all these things up, you discover that the wisest man failed, the strongest man failed. Then the man that everything was taken away from him remained faithful. And God has used their life to prove the faithfulness of a man is not always a direct function of the abundance of the things God has blessed him with. So God can literally make a man a reproach and he will stay faithful because he understands. So it is beyond the blessings. It is beyond the providence. It is about the understanding of whom God is and loving him deeply.